Today we're going to make some delicious spring rolls. And the first thing I'm going to do is prepare all the vegetables ready for the spring rolls. Okay, so just remembering always, before we start, we always wash our hands and put on an apron. Before we prep food, do anything with food at all, even eating food, we always wash our hands, and obviously really, really well. Okay, so what I want to show you today is what you can put into the spring rolls, all right? So I've got some peppers here. I've got yellow, I've got green, orange, and red, okay? I've got some root ginger, real ginger, but if you don't have that, you can also just use dried ginger, as in a powder. I've got some garlic, I've got some spring onions. I just really want to quickly show you how to chop them. So the best way is, when you've got your pepper, is to buy a pepper with a stalk, all right? The stalk is holding the pips on. And when you cut the pepper, you just cut around the pepper. And you can see there, the pips are attached to the stalk, all right? So you literally cut around. This is a brilliant way to learn to cut peppers without a single pip on the board, and there's no wastage because the pips are hanging onto the stalk, literally. So I've cut all around like that, and I even can cut off the bottom. I discard that bit, and then I've got my pepper to work with, all right? You can also do that by just using half the pepper. You don't need to use all the pepper. And then once you've done that, remember, keep your fingers up all the time, up, 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 ballerina or spider, and then you can cut them into nice thin strips, okay? The spring onion, you're going to take off the end. You don't want that bit. And you just run the knife through the middle like that, and you end up with some lovely pieces of spring onion like that. So I'll show you once more how to do that. You literally just pull the knife through. If it doesn't work the first time, it doesn't matter, just keep working on it like that. Okay, that's going to be discarded. Garlic, you obviously peel the garlic and then you chop it. You can finely chop it, or if you prefer, you can put it through a garlic press to make it finer. So there you got your garlic. Ginger, some people keep the skin on the ginger, but I tend not to. I tend to work around the skin. Take the skin off like that, and then again you want to just very, very carefully up with the fingers. You want to just cut that into really, really small bits. So there you have all your vegetables, and obviously peppers are a fruit because they have seeds. All right, so they are all ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a bowl here. So here's some pepper that I prepared earlier, so nice and thin like that. There's some more spring onions like that. Lovely. Okay, all into your bowl. Okay, and I've also got some bean sprouts, which I think always make a lovely crunch in a spring roll. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this to the side like that. I'm going to take my filo pastry. Okay, but before I take my filo pastry, I am just going to season this, and I'm going to season this with a little bit of 5 spice, just to give it a really authentic. And I'm going to use some mixed spice there. I'm going to use some dark soy sauce like that. Okay, I'm going to give that a really good mix up. Now, you could add anything you like to this mixture to make it as Chinese or as authentic as you would like. It really is completely up to you. So there you have it. There you got everything in there. You could use a little bit of oyster sauce if you wanted to. You can really use anything. Now, the filo pastry super delicate, so you've got to be super, super, super careful with it. It's literally paper thin. So you want to, if you've frozen it, you've got to defrost it. And what you want to do is you want to take your first sheet. So there's 2 sheets here, so they are, as I say, so thin. And you've got to keep them chilled, otherwise they literally fall apart. You can see actually this is falling apart. But actually it doesn't really matter because you're going to be sticking them back together again. So don't worry if you do have a split or it's not perfect. It really does not matter. So what I'm going to use now is I'm going to use some toasted sesame seed oil. Again, if you don't like sesame seed or you're allergic to it, you can use any oil you like, okay? You can just use normal vegetable oil. So what I'm doing here is I'm literally getting the pastry and I'm going to fold it over like that. So the oil is kind of sticking it all together. Then with my good old fingers, I'm going to put the filling in the center like that. And I am literally going to roll it up. Okay, so here we go. I want to make it as tight as possible. You can tuck the ends in as you go, and I'm going to roll it all the way. Now, you can use a little bit of oil on the bottom there, just to stick it together. And then you're going to pop that onto your piece of paper, ready to either bake in the oven or you can fry them. I prefer to bake them in the oven. I'm going to do that one more time for you. You take a sheet, you put oil all around the edges to make it a little bit stronger. You fold it in half. You take your wonderful mixture, you put it to the end of one of the bits of pastry at the bottom end. Okay, and you can tuck it in as you go. You can use some oil and you can tuck it in as you go. Just tuck it in like that. You can use a little bit of oil on the end and you roll all the way and then you pop it onto your baking tray. Now, if I was going to do this, I might just brush the top with a little bit of the oil, pop those in the oven. Now watch them really carefully because they will literally only take 10 minutes at the most. So set your timer and be very careful. And there you have it. You have beautiful homemade spring rolls. Enjoy.